Welcome back to the David Pakman Show. My name, once again, is Jesse Dollemore. I host the Dollemore Daily on the YouTubes, and I host a little podcast called I Doubt It with my trusty co-host, Brittany Page, who was the guest host here yesterday. Let's talk about something that it's just undeniable. It is self-evident that shamelessness is a superpower of Republicans. The dignity-free statements made by Republicans on Fox News and Fox Business and Newsmax and OAN and in the unholy sphere of conservative media is something to behold. Nancy Mace, I almost said Nancy Grace. That's a completely different Nancy. Equally terrible in my estimation. But Nancy Mace yesterday was on with Neil Cavuto, one of the reasonable hosts over in the News Corp arena. And he's asking her about this gender thing, how Republicans are attacking Kamala Harris for being a woman. And he wants a woman Republican's take on this. He just happened to go to the wrong Republican to ask. She launches into an absolute unhinged rant about how she's voting for Donald Trump because she wants to vote for a man who will support survivors of rape like her. She wants to vote for a president, a man who will protect children who are victims of incest. All of these things are noble. They are real. They are fantastic as a motivation. You're just not quite there, Nancy, if you're choosing Donald Trump to be that guy. First, let's watch the clip, and then we'll bring the receipts.
How do you feel about this whole gender thing? Because again and again, I was raising with our last panel conversation, men do react differently than women and vice versa, particularly if there are attack lines back and forth.
Right. Well, I'm a woman who's broken a number of glass ceilings over my career, and I understand firsthand, what that means. But I'm voting for Donald Trump because I am a woman, and nothing says, I'm a woman, hear me roar, like having your first national interview sit down with a man by your side. This is an interview for the leader of the free world, and so as a woman, I want to vote for someone who's going to protect women like me who are survivors of rape. I want to vote for someone who's going to protect children who are victims of incest, like Donald Trump will. I want to make sure that single moms like I am can afford their groceries and their gas when they're trying to put food on the table for their kids. That person is Donald Trump because of his economic policies, like lowering taxes for the middle class, expanding the child care tax credit, those kinds of things, lowering, looking at the spending of the federal government, et cetera, and the rise of inflation. I'm voting for Donald Trump because I want to be sure that biological men aren't in the locker room showering next to my underage daughter. I want to make sure men aren't stealing women's achievements in sports or academics or their scholarships. And that's why, as a woman, I support Donald Trump. And I want to see him come out strong for women's issues as he always has. We've had many conversations. He's one of the first Republicans to come out very strong for IVF and supporting women and families. He can go toe-to-toe with her on women's issues. I feel very confident about that.
Are you kidding? Every day, I think that the bottom has been reached for Republican shamelessness, for the disgusting insanity and projection that they will say with their mouths, knowing there's a microphone in front of them and that they're looking down the barrel of a camera. Very weird. Not to play off of they're weird, but they're pretty weird. How do you feel about this whole gender thing? She says proudly, defiantly, succinctly, as a woman, I want to vote for someone who's going to protect women like me who are survivors of rape. I want to vote for someone who's going to protect children who are the victims of incest, like Donald Trump will, she says. She could have left that part out, but she added it, like Donald Trump will. Donald Trump is a man who's going to protect survivors of rape. A man who is an adjudicated in a court of law rapist. A man who said, when you're a star, they'll let you do it. You can do anything. Grab him by the pussy. A man who walked in unannounced with no consent, no permission into dressing rooms of beauty pageants he owns, underage beauty pageants even, Is this the man who's going to protect survivors of rape? Is he even the man who's going to protect victims of incest? A man who has said on numerous occasions, in so many words, that he wants to have sex with his daughter? Let's not forget this. It's gross, but it needs to be remembered.
Thank you, everyone.
Donald Trump has every right to be proud of his daughter. Ivanka is a successful, Ivy League-educated businesswoman, author, and mother. She's now helping run his campaign and introduced her father at the Republican convention. Yet at times, his fatherly praise is downright cringeworthy, like on The View in 2006.
I said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
Stop it! Oh, it's so weird. Stop
You know what? You are sick.
Far from protecting his daughter from being talked about as a sex object, he has encouraged it multiple times. On Howard Stern's radio show in 2004 and then again in 2006.
By the way, your daughter,
She's beautiful.
can I say this? A piece of ass.
Yeah.
She looks more voluptuous than ever.
She's actually always been very voluptuous.
It's
She's
unbelievable.
tall. She's almost 6 feet tall.
In May, Ivanka described herself as a feminist while defending her father on CBS after a scathing New York Times article about his alleged negative treatment of women.
Is there unending commentary on the female form?
No. I've known my father, obviously, my whole life, and he has total respect for women.
Please welcome the lovely Ivanka Trump.
Still, even Ivanka seemed confused when talk show host Wendy Williams asked about things the two have in common.
What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
Donald Trump has always been proud of his daughter.
I'd call collect to his office. I was probably, 10 years old. He would pick up the phone every single time, and he'd put me on speakerphone. It wouldn't be a long conversation. He'd introduce me to whoever was in his office.
And he was front row when Ivanka took to the catwalk during her short-lived career as a fashion model. Still, Donald Trump repeatedly points out how hot his daughter is, saying last year in a Rolling Stone article, "Yeah, she's really something, and what a beauty, that one. If I weren't happily married and, her father."
And it's not just Ivanka. If you think it's Ivanka, just Ivanka, you're wrong. There was a time when he was on the Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous with Robin Leach, and they were talking about baby Tiffany, a baby, the child between he and Marla Maples. And he said vile, disgusting things about the future anatomy of his newborn baby girl.
Back in 1994, host Robin Leach asked about their daughter Tiffany, who was then just a year old.
Now, Donna, what does Tiffany have of yours and what does Tiffany have of Marla's?
Well, I think that she's got a lot of moral, and she's really a beautiful baby, and she's got Marla's legs. We don't know whether or not she's got this part yet, but time will tell.
So tell me again, Nancy Mace. Once again, regale me with your plan to vote for Donald Trump, a man who's going to battle against incest, who's going to battle for survivors of rape. Both, again, noble endeavors. We need to heighten protections for victims of these crimes. Absolutely. But if you're looking at Donald Trump to be doing it, come on. I don't take her seriously. I assume you don't either. But this is the state of the Republican Party. And again, this is maybe the 5th time I've said it today. We deserve better.